Welcome to Deep Thought. Icons of beauty hurt people. Icons of beauty hurt people. Look, what's an icon? An icon is an image. It's the perfect image. It's a symbol. It represents something. And for those who followed my relationship teachings, I talk about the female icon and increasingly now the male icon. Like the female icon is the perfect 10. Is usually what's represented in beauty contests, modeling, cheerleaders, the dime, whatever you want to say. That perfect woman, she's physically perfect. She's physically perfect now, and usually thought so by consensus because, we all have our ideals of what is a dime, what is a beautiful woman. And that's the same thing with men because you have icons of like that perfect man, that guy who's tall, maybe dark, handsome, has money, everything. Basically what you see on the covers of these romance novels and some movies, he's tall, muscular, handsome, that hunk who also has, I ain't gonna get into the personality part because it's really just the image that's really hurting people. The image, the icon, because it hurts people in this way. Not that they attacking the people, but let's just be real out here. Most people are trying to reach that icon. People's self-esteem is based on that icon, a significant portion. Of course, there's some people who don't do that. They follow their own standards. And those are actually the people who have the healthiest relationships and they have the healthiest sense of self. It's that man who, his woman might look like a 4 to everyone else, but that's a beauty queen to him and he doesn't care. Or that woman who she's good with that guy who's not tall, dark, and handsome. He's short, slightly overweight, and shoot, he might even have a face a mother could love, but she loves it, even if his mother don't. But she loves it. What you'll see is people like that tend to have a good self-esteem. They feel good about themselves. When you feel good about yourself, it's easier for you to feel good about others. But let's be real, we don't have it. Prior to the recording of this the night before, I was watching Love Island. I've talked about it on my men's channel. And I don't know, this is actually more interesting. Usually I just skim through it, check out something here and there. But it's interesting because one of the things about me, I tend to have an analytical mind. It can break down. I could watch something for entertainment, but then I start seeing little stuff. Because you think about Love Island, any of these reality shows that's showing like the supposedly beautiful people. It could be The Bachelor, Bachelorette, any of those type of shows. They are very careful who they have on there. And physical beauty is one of them. And even that beauty, you got to question it, especially with women, because the women putting on tons of makeup. Now, you could look at it economically. The beauty industry is major. And even beyond that, just to give the women, especially, and increasingly men, the idea that they are attractive, you have all these products, skincare, manscapers for the men, everything. Now, that's cool in one way, but then in another way, when someone feels like they don't reach that icon of beauty, of physical attractiveness, they feel bad about themselves. You have whole communities on YouTube, they call themselves incel, black pill, and they feel like they have real issues because, they don't look like Chad. And quiet as it's kept, you have women who feel the same way. A few weeks ago, I was watching some TikToks of some women who weren't asked out, who were considered ugly. And to me, they looked okay, and some of them were even beautiful to me. But they didn't feel that way. See, the pain comes in the icon being held up as the ideal, and then someone feels like they don't reach that ideal because then if they reject it in a relationship or they're not treated a certain way, they'll say, I don't look this way. Indeed, and even though I don't really get into racial issues here, let's get into that. A big issue within the African American community, or some people use ADOS, some people use Foundational Black American, whatever term you want to use. A major issue is, especially with women, is that they don't look like white women. Why? We're in a culture that holds the white woman up as the most beautiful, and indeed that can mess with white women. The average woman period is 5'4" and slightly overweight. Like a lot of women, like if you just talk about that ideal white woman image, yeah, you got some video, there's a trend talking about having a nice butt and all of that. But even then, if you're talking about a white woman, it's still that glorified Barbie. It still is. It really is. But most women don't reach that. Like you talk about blonde hair. Outside of Sweden, most white women don't have blonde hair. The average white woman you see on the street with blonde hair is dye. All you have to do is wait a day or two and you'll see the roots. And if you ask them what the actual color is, it's not blonde, but it's a big deal. So even within that community, it's still the same thing. But if we get back to the African American community, you have especially a lot of black women. Okay, that's the big thing with the hair weaves. That's the big things with nose shape. Indeed, that's a big shoot. That nose shape thing is big throughout the world. Why? Because currently the ideal is that the white nose shape. I mean, in Asia, they getting features. And part of that, let's just be clear, is because some people try to say it's objective. No, it's cultural imperialism. Is if you promote a certain image. Because 20 years, 50 years from now, the image might be the dominant image might be that multiracial person. I'm already seeing things about that. But that's once again the icon. And it hurts when a person doesn't reach that. But see, here's the thing. I want y'all to think about it like this. Mentally. You are who you are. A rose is beautiful, but so is an orchid. Even a dandelion. If you really look at a dandelion, a sunflower, you have different flowers. I have a couple flowers on my deck. Neither one are roses, but they're still beautiful to me. Look, real beauty should be considered anyone who's at their optimal. Not because they look at somebody else or what the media currently is promoting, but just looking who they are. Now, I know some people feel like, oh no, not me. And they always compare it to something else. If you're comparing your looks, your physicality to someone else, that's where the problem begins. The only person that you should be comparing your physicality to is your true inner self, your optimal form. Now, if you're not at your optimal form, then complain. But not if you're not at that man's optimal form who's promoted in the media, or that woman's optimal form who's promoted in the media, even though she have a whole makeup team. Yeah, she got an optimal form. She got a whole team of makeup artists, camera people, lighting, and everything. And indeed, what I'm gonna put in the description box, it's a commercial, it's a couple videos. I know at least one. It's a Dove commercial showing how they photoshopped this woman. Quite ordinary at first, a couple of them. I'm gonna try to put a couple of them in there. How they photoshopped these women who were quite ordinary looking until they got into it. See, that's the problem if you think about the icons. Because like I said, it's based on what they'll have on TV. It's based on images. If it's a still image, I already assume it's photoshopped. If it's a still image. Seriously, already assume it. Now, if it's more of a live shot, it's still a bunch of stuff. Like one thing is interesting, like on Love Island, they show them fixing up. The guys like making sure their lineup is okay. The women putting on a ton of makeup. There was one, and when she didn't have her makeup on, I was like, her face looked quite ordinary. But when she had the makeup on, perfect skin. But how many human beings have perfect skin like that? No blemishes. I want to see them. Their body's perfectly proportioned. Everything's totally symmetrical. No. But when people don't have that, they feel bad about themselves. It's something to really think about. It hurts people it hurts people's self-esteem, and it really needs to be addressed. Needs to be addressed. So, as always, something to think about. And get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.